Hey, Natsu here. Today, for my 600 sub special, I'm going to start a new what if. The what if is called What If Deku Had Living Blades. I'm not sure if anyone would have heard of a name like that, but basically I created the whole thing myself. So, Deku in this will be quirkless, and actually where the points where it separates is quite easily gettable. Just he gave up after being bullied for a while. Even though Inko was trying to help him, he kind of just ran away. Sorry about that. So like I was saying, Deku basically will run away. So now I will explain basically what the blades are. Well, what a living blade is, actually. Living blades are special weapons created by certain blacksmiths, and a living blade isn't truly, alive and thinking. It's more that it has a soul inside of it that basically allows them to fix themselves no matter how broken they get. Sometimes it can take a while, but yeah. Other thing that it makes is that each blade, even though they don't necessarily have a blade on them, basically control different powers and different capacities. All of them have more than a single one. Actually, quite a bit more. And the more you train with them, the more you can get stronger, as well as the more the weapon itself gets stronger. If you lose the blade and that someone else is able to use it, they will have the full capacity of the blade from the point you left it, but they'll need to train themselves to be able to control that. Which is basically where it gets quite harder if you're basically the newest user of it. Basically, each different weapons have different rules for you to control them. Basically, if you're not with that those requirements, if you didn't meet them, you cannot actually use them. And most of them would actually harm you if you try to grab them. If you have the capacity, if you could gain the capacity to use them, or that you have, let's say, already one or two of the requirements, you could actually hold the blade and it wouldn't instantly harm you, but it's still going to hurt a bit. So, yeah. Now, let's start. Deku is born a normal child. No quirk, no nothing. I have to pause again. Sorry. Okay, yeah, so Deku is born a normal child, quirkless, and basically his life is exactly the same. The only difference is that when everyone learned that he will not get a quirk, people bully him more compared to the original, which makes him want to give up. He doesn't directly give up instantly, but he basically doesn't like it a lot more. He is still able to hold and basically be able to keep calm for a while, and all it does is make him try to push so that he becomes more and more intelligent to basically try and still be a hero. Until at some point he basically has enough and he gives up fully. Even though Inko tries to help him, telling him that everything's going to be okay, Deku doesn't believe it anymore. He knows, and he decided that he was going to run away. He didn't want to stay here and be bullied by Kachan and the others. So, at age 9, basically like not far after he turned 9, he runs away in the dead of night. He runs and basically is able to go to a forest. In that forest, which is basically multiple days later, during that time he slept in the street and just in the woods normally, until at some point he found an old house that looked completely broken but still livable. He decided that he didn't want to stay out in the cold anymore, and that he would go there. He was on the verge of giving up and going back, but he found the house and decided that he would stay there. He starts to enter, and just from the inside he sees that everything's a lot worse than what he thought, but if he could try to fix it, it could in theory still be livable. Anyway, it's better than being outside. And during the time that he was out, anyway, he basically started trying to find food, trees, and basically multiple times laid some small traps for the night, so that the next day he could hopefully eat. So he already basically learned kind of to do that. Basically way before he decided to run away. He had already thought that he would probably do that, so he basically looked for survival tactics, making it so that he knows how to basically make small tools, how to lay small traps, and basically do those things. So he was ready. He started going further in the house, basically seeing stairs to go to the second story. Yes, sorry, the words didn't want to come out. So Deku basically starts going up, and going to go up, and right before the stairs, he hears a crack and falls through the floor. He gets to the basement, which he arrives in the middle of a big room with 6 stone columns that hold the roof over him. He has enough light to see, but it's pretty hard to see anyway. He looks around and sees that in each stone pillars there is a sword with some type of writing above them that he is not able to read. It's weird. He decides to not stick around and basically go back up and not come back down here. I have to pause, be right back. Sorry about that. So, Deku basically goes to go back upstairs, but he passes next to something. He passed next to a bookshelf that, weirdly, every book seemed to be perfectly fine, as if they were new. He decided to look at one of them, and when he opened it, it was weird. He didn't recognize the language on it until he remembered what were on the stone's pillars. He decided to get a closer look by bringing one of the books to it, and saw that, yeah, it was extremely similar. He turned some of the pages, and then he saw that, oh, there seemed to be Japanese on it, which helped him translate. Well, that could help him translate. Which he decided to. Sorry about that. Which he decided to do because, well, he doesn't really have anything better to do. So why not? Deku then decided that, yeah, he was going to renovate the house and basically then live in it. After living in it for a while, about a year, renovating quite a lot of it, basically using wood from the forest, cutting down trees by making stone tools, basically learning how to live a lot more outside, and increasing a lot in his own strength. After basically an entire year, Deku finally got to be able to read fully the entire language without problem. He doesn't know how to talk it because, well, he never heard it, but he is able to decipher it. So, he decided that he would go back to the basement, this time with a torch, and basically read what was above each stone. Well, each sword. Just going to set the thing. Okay, so Deku goes to the first one. And the sword looks reddish, well, orange-red, with some type of flaming pattern on it. Deku reads above it, and what he reads is this: Sunshine, the blade of fire. Only those with a pure heart and a fiery soul will be able to wield the flame of this blade. Deku sees this and just thinks that it's basically like, not really instruction, but basically someone just decided to put that because the sword looks like it has a flaming pattern on it. So Deku goes to grab it. And when he grabs it, he isn't able to directly pull it out. What it does is he feels as if his hands were going to burn and catch fire. He lets go automatically, but He looks at his hand and they're not burned, just red. Red a bit. Deku thinks, okay, yeah, something is wrong with this blade. And decides to go to the next one, which has a bluish tint to it and looks like it's made of crystal or made of ice. He starts reading. Ice Age, the blade of ice. Only those with a pure heart and the knowledge of betrayal can wield the frost of this blade. Which, Deku reads this and just feels as if something bad's going to happen if he grabs it. But he still wants to see if he's able to grab and take it. Before being able to touch the blade though, he hears someone asking him who he is and what he is doing. Deku looks back and sees an old man who's just standing there. Wait, no. Deku hears someone talking, but he doesn't understand it. Deku looks back and sees a man. The man repeats exactly the same thing, but he doesn't understand it. Until Deku basically feels as if the man is asking a question, which Deku is then the one who says, "What are you doing? Who are you?" Which the man then hears this, looks at Deku a bit, and then asks in Japanese, or for us in English, "Who are you? Who gave you permission to be here?" Which Deku just said, "I just found this place. I ran away from home a year ago and I just kind of found this place after running. I started building it back." Which the man said, "I see. What were you doing with those swords? Why were you trying to take them?" Which Deku basically just kind of looks at him and says that he just thinks they're weird. And the weird language on top, it's weird how they say that those blades are, and he doesn't let Deku finish what he was saying, and the man just asks him, "Wait, you're able to read this? Who taught you?" Which Deku just said, "I learned it from those books." Which the man looked at the bookshelf and asked him, "How long have you been trying to learn it?" Which Deku told him that in the last year he've been here, and he basically built back the entire, well, almost everything from the house that was broken, fixing it with wood, and basically living here, hunting, fishing, farming a bit, and that he's been trying to learn the language to know what this was written above the swords. Which the man asked him why he wants them. Which Deku just said that he doesn't really have a reason. In fact, the only reason he's here is because he ran away from home after being bullied because he doesn't have a quirk. The man is looking at Deku and just kind of smiles a bit, and then asks him, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" With Deku saying he wanted to be a hero, but everyone just bullied him because he didn't have a quirk. So he knows he cannot become one. It's useless. So the man smiles and tells him, "You know, kid, I like you. Normally people who come here and try to take those those swords, don't say the truth. Most of them try to avoid the questions or lie to me. You're the first one who's been fully honest with me." Which Deku says, "How do you know?" Which the man smiles and tells him, "You see, my quirk is that I can see the souls of people. And when someone is lying, their soul change color a bit. Or even if you just think of lying, I can see it. But your soul is pure. It is a pure gold that never seemed to have even changed while you were responding or even thinking. You have a good soul, a good heart, and I really think you can become a hero. But you would need to be trained. Which Deku looks at him and asks him, "What do you mean?" Which the man tells him, "Those swords, they're special, and if you're able to master them, you could become a great hero. But for that, you will need to train. For the next month, I want you to fix the house, and after that, we'll start training." Deku smiles and has a light in his eyes that appear. The man sees it also in his soul. The soul starts to shine a lot brighter, as if darkness was lifted from him. And he was happy. He told Deku that he's going to take care of the food. He just fixed the house and gets stronger. Deku accepts, and for the next month, all that Deku does is fix the house. Deku is able to fix everything that was left in that time because he basically already had done about 86% of the work in that amount of in the first year, and that was basically just him doing that for about a quarter of the time he was awake, with the rest being fishing, hunting, farming, or trying to learn the language. So Deku was able to finish all of it, and then the man told Deku, "So, you're able to read it, right?" With Deku telling him that yes, he is. The man tell him, "Okay then, I want you to go down and read every single one of these scripts above the swords." Which the man Deku accepts and tell him that he's going to go do it. The man follows him. Once they get there, the man tells him to start reading from the first one. So Deku starts once again. "Sunshine, the blade of fire. Only those with a pure heart and a fiery soul will be able to wield the flames of this blade." Deku says it out loud, and nothing really happens. Like for the other swords, it won't, but the man tells him to continue. "Ice Age, the blade of ice. Only those with a pure heart and the knowledge of betrayal can wield the frost of this blade." The man tells Deku to continue, so Deku passes to the next one. "A blade purely red, as if made of blood. It looks as if it was made in the effigy of a dragon's head, with the blade coming out of his mouth. Deku starts to read, Bloodlust, the blade of blood. Only those with a pure heart and the damaged soul can wield the blood of this blade. Deku thinks that it's weird, and asks the man what it means. And the man tells him that he will learn everything later. For now, he must keep reading. Deku passes to the next one. A white greyish looking blade that looks like it was carved out of bones. Deku looks above it and starts to read. Skull Spirit, the blade of bones. Only those with a pure heart and a broken will can wield the bones of this blade. Deku is weirded out once again by this one. Blood and bones, and asks the man why those two were there. They seem scary. The man tells him that it's not really that much scary, and that he should keep reading. He goes to the next one. A blade of pure white with gold. A blade of pure whiteness with gold. With gold specks on it. Okay. It looks made of a wing. Divine Judgment, the blade of light. Only those with a pure heart and desire for justice can wield the light of this blade. Deku sensed as if it was calling him, and he asks the man if she should try to take it, which the man tells him, not right now. For now, you need to read the last one. Afterward, we are going to start training. So, Deku goes and looks at the last one. A blade of black and purple. It looks as if it was made from the wing of bats. On the hilts, it looks as if there was small cuts or claw marks. Deku reads, Nether Oblivion, the blade of darkness. Only those with a pure heart and the knowledge of hate can wield the darkness of this blade. Which, Deku, after reading it, just feels once again attracted by the blade. As if it was calling him. And Deku tells it once again to the man. Which, the man tells him, good. Now that you've read all of them, what can you tell me from them? How much can you know from just that? Which Deku says that each sword seemed to wield something specific, and that those who can actually control them will gain those powers. Which the man tells him, right. Now, do you know why I want you to train? Why I told you you could become a hero if you did? Which Deku says, you want me to use the blades, right? You want me to take them. Which the man smiles and laughs, telling him, right. And from what I saw in your soul, if you train hard enough, you could wield all of them. All of them at once, even. You could become quite powerful. Probably the most powerful one around. Now, let's go train. Deku then tells him, I have one last question. I've asked you this multiple times during the last month, but you never answered me. The man looks at him and smiles and says, ask away. And Deku asks, what is your name? With the man telling him, my name is Pan. This was part 0A of What If Deku Had Living Blades. I really hope you like this because each and every weapon that will be in this What If were created by me over many months. I hadn't even started making videos and I was already creating those, so I've put a lot of efforts on them. The only thing that doesn't directly come from me is the name of eight of the weapons. The 6 that you've heard right now are from Grateful Buster on Discord and on YouTube. He doesn't have videos, so you can't really find any videos from him. But on Discord, if you go to the link in the description, you can probably talk to him on my Discord. Most of the time he's on about the same time as me, sometime later or earlier, because, well, compared to me, he actually works more from home, actually. Funny enough, he just needs a computer and he does work from home, so he can literally be on 24/7 if he wanted to, but he doesn't. So yeah, if you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comment, leave them in the comment section. If you want to subscribe, do it. It's actually, well, it would actually help. So, yeah, Natsu, out.